Welcome all, this is Koal05. In this video I'll be providing you a demonstration on the new updates that are provided to the progression sheet. I'll also be providing you a method of how to update your current sheets to my new versions. And I'll provide you a method of how to custom sort some of your sheets now. Before I get into the video, I'd like to say thanks heaps for all the members, all the comments that I've received. Just to say thanks. Honestly, if I didn't receive these, I wouldn't have put this much time and effort into this, and I wouldn't have been sharing this around the community. This is really just to help me initially, and when I saw that people were really vibing off it, got the similar benefits that I had out of this, that's when I decided to continue to contribute and make more updates. Some of the problems that I'm going to address in this video are really stemming out of that I didn't get concept or didn't get scope of what I was intending to do at the start, and now it's bigger than I wanted it to be, and I should have implemented a better change as I went. But anyway, I should be able to address this in this video, so let's get into it. So here we have the overview page for my 05 update. We'll go into the items and we'll just have a quick look at the new items that I've added into this. So we'll just filter in for the notable items. Here we've added the golden seeds, the sacred tears, the cracked pots, ritual pots, perfume bottles, memory stone, the talisman pouches, the cookbooks, and also the spell books / prayer book scrolls. Now I see a side by side. On the right is my 05. This is the overview of all the items. On the left's the same page of my 04 with my current character and all of its progression. What I'll talk about now is a couple of methods on how you can transfer all of your progress, all of your logging from a previous sheet, so previous sheet on the left here, to my new clean sheet on the right here. Again, yeah, what you're seeing here is 04 on the left with my progression, and 04 on the right is empty and clean and hasn't been filled out. I went through a number of attempts at finding a really easy couple of methods to quickly just identify if there's any significant changes to the sheets, any adds, any subtracts of items, or any reordering. I couldn't really settle on that, so I do have a more complex method here, but it should give you correct results and give you good correct feedback. So you're not just pasting ones and zeros in and getting incorrect progression logged. Just to extend that on that PSA, I know that going from 4 to 5, I've just added in notable items, so you think I should be able to just filter out, remove the notable items, and be able to do the copy and paste. So take all the notable items out of that list, same for this list, and then just go and have a little bit more of a target approach when I get to that category. Copy and paste all of these values into this sheet and it should be good to go, no issues. That's not the case. When I filtered out and you paste in, Excel will acknowledge all of those hidden cells and still paste those values in those empty rows. So that's my fault for the way I've updated this sheet. I've added all the notable items in the rows in up here. If I ever need to add more items, I will add from the bottom of this sheet here, so it should be really quick to identify where stuff's at the bottom. Now the issue that I'm going to come up with is, let's say some of these items, or even particularly for the cut content that I remove out of this list, well, that will have a gap, a void, an empty space in that, so you won't just be able to copy paste. But I'll try to make that known in any of the change logs that I do in the future, and we should be good from there. Alright, so now the suggestion that I'm going to provide to you on how to update from your current older version with all of your character progression to a brand new sheet. I'm going to go over this now. It's going to be a little bit complex, and I'll be using a few Excel skills here and there. I've trialed this a couple of ways, and really the most foolproof method and kind of future-proof. So if you are watching this in a couple of months down the track, hopefully this will still work. Anyway, so let's get into it, and I'll try to provide as much instruction as I can. What we're going to do here is on my new sheet on the right here, so this is still my 05 clean sheet, hasn't been updated. On my left here is the 04 with all my character progression all logged. What I'm going to do on my new sheet, I'm going to add a new blank page, a new sheet. I'm going to go over to my older sheet here. I'm going to click on the name of all items. I'm going to hold shift and arrow across, and then I'm going to go hold control shift and down to select all of the items. Sorry, actually, before I go too far, make sure that none of your filters are in play here. So you've got all of the cells displayed, yeah, no hidden rows or anything like that. So just repeat that again. So make sure that you've got no filters. I go shift right button, control shift down, control C. So we've just selected that entire 2 columns, and we're going to paste them in here. We'll go over to our blank sheet here, do the exact same thing, control shift down, control C, paste that right next to here. Just do a little bit of formatting to see what we can see. What I'll do here is an if formula, so I'll go equals if, open bracket, select on this cell, equals that cell. So pretty much if the text string, so the name of this is exactly the same as that, then we want a 0 to appear. And if that is not the case, so an error has occurred, we'll want a 1 to appear. We'll close that bracket, we'll close that bracket and hit enter. We can select this cell, double click on the bottom right corner, we'll send that formula all the way down. While this is selected, if you really want, completely optional, you can do conditional formatting, manage rules, create a new rule. Cell value is equal to 0. Then we want a nice green to show. And now we're gonna, if that's not the case, so cell contains, cell value equal to a 1. Then we want a big old red to show to indicate that there's a problem. Go OK. So we've got nice greens across the board so far. This can make it a lot easier to identify any minor faults as we go through. So just as we're going, just give you an example. So let's just say I've got a spelling error there. So it immediately identifies as a number 1. Okay, so what I've just simulated here is if I've missed an item and I've included it in my new version and it's not there in the old version. This can also be the same if a item is swapped around, it's changed its name. Anyway, in what I'm getting you to do in these steps here, now that we've identified that all of these are wrong, so why would they be wrong? Well, this is correct up to here, so the the Japanese sword here is correct, but we've got an error here. So in this particular event here, what I want you to do is select this, again, shift right arrow, control shift down. What we're going to do is drag this one column down, one row down, come back up, copy this new entries, this is new added into my new version, and we'll just paste that there for the time being. We'll go up, it doesn't really matter where you do on this cell, just as long as you do it above the cell that had the issue. Double click on your right arrow again, right bottom corner, and that'll send that cell down. So now we've got correct displaying so far again. Now, if you are following me and you are going from 4 to 5, which is exactly what I'm doing here, please follow these steps, because this is exactly the issue that I created when I made this this error. So as we're still going down, all of these are correct so far. Once we get to the notable items, that's when our issues will arise. So what I've got here is all my new items that I've added in. I've added it in here, and I've pretty much shuffled all these cells down, and now they're not aligning to the old versions that I had made. So what I want you to do again is select this row, both the name and the value. Control shift down, select all those guys. Grab on the border of that selection. Grab on that border selection. Just go down to the bottom of your screen, and you'll start automatically scrolling. And yeah, as we're doing this, there's probably far more elegant ways, and if you got them, please share them for all my community, for all our community. It'll help immensely, and it's really just trying to unstuff some of the situation that I've put us in. Anyway, so now that we've got this big gap here that can make room for all of my additions, we can now awkwardly grab all of the values here. So both, again, the name and the zeros really. copy that, put this in this back row here. So what we're doing now, we're just mirroring the old and the new. Again, we can send this formula down just to confirm that we've got everything correct. And so far, this looks fine. Okay, so this is a long roundabout way of doing this all. I guess another very quick thing you can do is do a sum. So I'm just going to go above this row here, go equals sum m, open bracket, select the cell, Control Shift down, Shift to close that bracket, enter, and we'll have 0. So we should have 0. If any of these are a 1, bad example there. Let's just say I did have a spelling error. So we've got 1 error, so we need to know we're looking at this list. When that says 0, we know we've got no issues between both of these rows of information. Now that that's done, now that this old value, this old column's fine, actually what we can do is Control Shift down on all these values and paste them in here. So what we have here is pretty much our old progression and our new progression. Our new progression now has all of the values that we need to paste back into our actual sheets. So we're gonna, again, Control Shift down on all these values, come back to our actual item list. Again, make sure that there's no filters on any of these, and paste all those values in. Right, so once you paste those values in, just do a quick bit of a scrolling around to identify if you have correctly updated both your sheets. Yeah, acknowledging that that this was huge stuff around. See, we've got 288 at the top corner here, and with our conditional formatting, you should be able to see greens lining up right next to each other there. Once you finish that, you don't really need this sheet anymore. You can delete that. Cool. Sweet. So it's been a full roundabout way of explaining how to update those sheets, but as I said, any future updates, I'll attend to just add them at the bottom of the sheet, so you can quickly identify that there's new additions. Again, I can't have completely control over this, as things might get changed or move around. This is particular note for the quest logs. I might have to add more instructions here, remove them or change them around and stuff. Again, I'll try and keep this as informed in the change logs. Acknowledge though, when DLCs come out, I'll have to change these. I'll have to change the locations, but hey, we might have to worry about that for another year. Who knows? Okay, so the last thing I'll round out with this video is a couple of methods on ordering. So in this newest update, actually from 4 and 5, I've added this column which is order. This is included in the item list as well, as you may have seen. So I've got a number count, which is tied pretty much to either the NPC focus or like daggers. As you can see, I'm counting 1 all the way up to 16. Straight swords, I'm counting 1 up to 19. But this outside column here is counting from 1 as the first item to 1,700 with the last item there. This is in aid, and again, show this that Roderica, she's got 6 instructions at this point, but overall we got 357 instructions for all NPCs. What you can do with this, completely optional, don't have to do it at all. So what we're going to start doing is select the entire sheet. So we're going to go from those orders all the way over to your links, and ensure that these are all collected. We're going to go over to data, and we're going to go sort. So this is going to apply a more advanced sort than just using the filters. Pretty much you can only really use one filter at the time. So I could just go sort A to Z. So I've got all of our limgraves here. This will be in so pretty much as default order as you can get. Anyway, but if we've selected everything here, so going back to that step, you can go sort. You can go sort by location, as we did just then, but also you can add a level to sort by the number that the NPC has gone through. So we're going to go from smallest to largest there. So what this will do will essentially give you the starting point of each NPC, really. It'll give you, starting from Limgrave, you can pretty much go and do the first action of all of these NPCs. This is, when I first created this, I was intending that this could be a way to not get yourself stuffed around with too much progression on one NPC over another. The real critical error of this is that round table hold. I haven't put a number to this, and you can both access a number of these NPCs throughout some of their interactions. Also in Limgrave, particularly Patches, he comes back. So after you do a lot of the volcano meta stuff, you come back to visit him back in Limgrave right at the end. That doesn't let it break any of his sequences or anything like that, but it's just something to pay attention to. For me, I kind of just wanted to have this sheet open and as we start ticking. Okay, see this person, see that person, travel over here, reset there, kill that person, whatever. Reset. Refresh this. Okay, refresh this. So I've got all my ones disappeared. So I've got my, every time I log into here, I can see, okay, I tick this box, tick that box, do that item. It's not going to be foolproof, as there'll be times where you'll have to jump out of Livegrave, go to somewhere, come back to Livegrave, sort of thing. Anyway, so that was my intent for it. But really, actually, just to close off this instruction here that I got for you. We'll go back to, so yeah, let's say you've done that and you realize you'd prefer to have it back the way you want it, the original sort order that I provided. You can reverse that step from the start and select all of the items. So again, selecting all of the inside here, make sure you include the link as well. Go back to your data, use that sort button, remove that level. Pretty much all we really need is to go the order. This was our original order right from the start, and we've got everything back in that original order, all the NPCs grouped together correctly. So if we hadn't had this order, Excel wouldn't be that friendly on reordering it. You know, you could just go by Control Z's, undo, undo, undo. But if you've saved and opened up this this sheet, it won't have saved any of those undos, so you'll pretty much be stuck with the way it is. But anyway, completely optional. As I said, I probably won't use that as much as I thought I was going to be. Coming over to the list that I was just using before here, I've zoomed out a little bit on this. I'll zoom back in a little bit to show what I've got. But it pretty much was easy at this point to just look for the NPC, go through, start ticking off, okay, I've gone as far as I can with that person. In my character, I've just gone out of Limgrave pretty much. I went into Liurnia, so I can start doing the next couple of starts with those NPCs there. Yeah, so it wasn't too intrusive. I didn't find it too much of a burden, but yeah, give us a yell if you find that valuable, however you use it, and also give us a yell if anything starts breaking on you. Any of those demos that I provided you in this video, if I haven't done a good job of explaining that and you got a bit lost, hit me up and I'll communicate with you and point you on the right direction if any issues there. But anyway, I think that'll round out this video. It's probably gone on a fair bit. But I intended to cover off a few of those handy tips as I identified a few issues as I arose. So again, yeah, closing off messages. Thanks again for your support. At this point, I don't see a huge amount need for me to do many more updates. But with that said, I'll still be available in the comments logs, both on this video and on the mod page. Give us a yell. I'll be available there. Righto. Thanks again. This has been Koal05. Take care all. Goodbye.